Hi everyone, welcome to the CodeQueryHub. So in the previous video, we have learned how to use Jupyter Notebook and how to write comments in Python, some shortcuts, and we have also learned about states and modes in Python. So we are having three modes, that is code mode, markdown, and raw and convert. So we have discussed all of them in detail. So I request you to please go and watch that video. It will help you a lot. Now, in this video, let's learn about some new topics. So for that, let me create a new notebook. Just click on new and then Python 3. So this is your new Jupyter notebook. Now, let me rename it. So just click on this untitled and this is your by default name. So let me rename it. So yes, it has been renamed. Now let's start with a new topic, that is variables in Python. So first of all, what is a variable? So variable is like a container that can hold the data or information. So let me write the definition as it is like a container in the memory that holds the data, public information. Now, how to write the variable in Python? So we are having the syntax for that. So let me write it as syntax for defining the variable. So it is very simple. We can write the variable name equal to value. So let's define a variable. Suppose A is your variable name and equal to, and let's assign some value to it. Let's write 45 and just run this cell. And to run it, we can use either shift plus enter or control plus enter. It is your choice. Now, let's try to see what is inside this variable. So just write the variable name and run this cell. So yes, you can see that this variable A is holding the value 45. Now, let's create another variable B, which will hold the decimal place value. So let's take any decimal value and run this cell and let me see what is inside this B. Yes, so this variable B is holding the decimal value 76.78. Now, if you want to create a variable that can store the text values or the string values, so how can you do it? So you need to pass them in quotes. So let me write it as for storing the string public text values, you need to pass them in quotes. So you can write the single quotes or double quotes. It is up to you. So let me create a variable C which will hold the string value. That is, let me take hello. So just run this cell and let's see what is inside this C. Yes. So this variable C is holding the string value hello. Now, if you want to store the multi-line string, suppose T is your multi-line string and which is holding the value as hello. How are you? This is the second video on Python. This channel name is query. So if you try to store the multi-line string with the help of single quotes, it will not work in the Python. So you can see if you are storing a string value inside the single quote, single line string. So the whole string value is converted into the red text, but in this only the first line becomes red, rest is not. Just run this cell. So you will get the error, syntax error. So this is not the way to store the multi-line string. So how to do it? Let me write it again. So if you want to store the multi-line string in Python, so you have to use 3 quotes at the start and 3 quotes at the end. And now if you run it, it will run fine. And let me try to see what is inside this variable D. So you can see you are having the entire string value. And here the \n will represent the next line character. So this will give you the next line, or you can say new line character. So let me write the rule as for multi-line string, use 3 quotes in the start and 3 quotes in the end. So in this way, you can define a multi-line string in Jupyter Notebook. So I hope this is clear to you. Now let's see the INC rules. So what is this? This is identifier, naming, convention. So what does these rules represent? So these are the rules. Let me write it as. These are the rules to be followed to name a variable. Means while defining a variable, what name you must give to the variable is defined with the help of INC rules. So let's talk about it. So the first rule is the variable name can be alphanumeric, but it can't start with a number. So let me first, let's say we are defining the variable name as S1. So S is your text value and this is your digit. So it is alphanumeric. So let me assign some value to it. So it will work fine. So let's see. Yeah, it is holding this value. But if you define the variable name as 1s instead of s1 and just hold some value to it, and if you run it, it will give you the syntax error. So this is not the correct way to define it. It means the variable name cannot be start with the number. So this is the wrong way to define the variable, and this is the right way. The variable as per INC rules. So let me write the rule as variable name can be alphanumeric, but it can't start from a number. Now let's move to the another rule, rule number 2. So the rule number 2 is we cannot use any special characters to define the variable name except underscore. So let me write what underscore is. So this is your underscore. This symbol is the underscore. Suppose you have to declare a variable as roll number. And you have to write the space. And instead of space, you can write the underscore. Let's run it. And so yeah, it will work fine. So underscore, it represents or denotes space in variable name. So it acts like a space inside this variable name. Now, if you try to have some another special character, let's run it. So yes, you are getting the syntax error because you cannot use any other character, special character, except underscore. So this is the no special character is allowed except underscore. And yes, this is allowed. So let me write the second rule as no special character is allowed except underscore. So yeah, it is used to denote the space in the variable name. So let me write it as this one. And yeah, one more thing is Python is case sensitive. Sensitive, wait. Sensitive. It means the lower characters and the upper characters will mean the different or doesn't mean the same thing. So let me explain more. So you can write it as this one. So this is your rule number 3. Suppose you are defining the variable as a1 equal to 45. So a1 is 45. But if you write a1, it will throw you error because small a1 and capital A1 will not mean the same thing. It will say it is not defined. So we can say A1 and A1 is different. As Python is case sensitive. So this is the most important rule. Now the next rule is never use predefined keywords as variable name. So we have discussed in the previous video, like suppose we want to print something. So we use this one, print. Hello, how are you? Suppose you want to print this statement. So yes, it will print, it will tell the Jupyter notebook to print this text. So it is predefined. So print is predefined, but if you try to assign something like if you say you take print as a variable and you store something in it like 67. So it will not throw any error to it. It will act like a variable. So now let's write print hello and run it. So it will give you the type error. It will say the int object is not callable because you have stored the integer value to the print. So it will overwritten the print keyword. So this is the predefined keyword and it will not function. So it is better not to use the predefined keyword as a variable name. Now, by mistake, if by mistake you use this, So how to restore it? Just use the delete and that keyword. So I have used print here. So let me comment it out and use delete and print. Now this print has been deleted. Now it will work fine. So if you write hello now and run it, so yes, the functionality is over, is restored. In this way, you can restore the keyword if you use it by mistake. Now, let's so let me write a syntax for defining functions. So if you know any of the language, you know how to define the functions. Defining the functions. So print is basically a function. So we use print with the help of these parentheses. So let me write it so that it will not, there will not be any confusion. So let me write the syntax. So you have to write the function name and then parentheses, or you can say round brackets. And let me comment it out. So yes, this is the way to define the functions. So print is a predefined function in Python. Now let's move to another topic and let's talk about data types in Python. So in basic Python, we are having four data types, that is int, float, string, and boolean. So let me write it as basic Python supports four data types. So one is your int, okay, float, string, and boolean. So yes, these are the four basic data types in Python. And suppose if you want to know the data type of the variables, so how to check it? So let me take some variables. Suppose I'm taking the variable is x equal to 8. Yes, x is having 8 value. And let me define some values first. Set some string value. Let's take some string value as string variable as this one. Let's write the multi-line string. So we can use the three quotes in at the start and three quotes at the end. So let me write another high level language. Let me write this. Yes. Let's see whether it is stored in it or not. So yeah. Let's take another variable as, yeah. So Boolean data type is having only two values, that is true or false. So let me see whether which type of data type these variables hold. So for that, we are having the type function in Python. So if you want to check the data type of the variable, we can use the type function. So let's comment it out. Now we are having this variable x. So let's check the type of this variable. So type, and inside that you have to give the variable name. So yes, we can see that x is of integer type. Let's check the data type of y variable. So we can write type of y. So yes, it is float variable, or we can say the variable which hold the value with decimal places are of float data type. And this is just string data type. Let's see the type of variable z. So yes, this is your string. And another one is your h variable. So yes, this is also the string type. The difference is only it is a single line string and it is a multi-line string. And let's check the data type of this variable, that is k, type of k. So yes, this is the boolean data type. So the boolean data type is very important and it holds only two values, that is true or false. And let's check another variable also. So let's check the data type of b variable also. So what it should be? It should be of float data type because it is holding the decimal place. Let's check. Yeah, it is holding the float variable. So in this video, we have learned about the variables in Python, how to define it. So we are having the syntax as variable name equal to value, and to define the single line string, we can enclose the string in single quotes or double quotes. And for multi-line string, we can use three quotes to in this chart and three quotes in the end. This is how we can define the multi-line string. And we have also studied about the INC rules, that is identifier naming convention rules. So these rules must be followed while naming a variable. So first rule is variable name can be alphanumeric, but it can't be start with a number. So this is not allowed. And no special character is allowed except underscore. Next rule is Python is case sensitive. So you have to be very careful while defining the variable because small a1 and capital A1 will not mean the same thing. And the next rule is never use the predefined keyword as the variable name because it will halt its properties. Like we use the print function for printing out the values, but if we use it as a variable, then it will not, it will give you the type error. So if by mistake you define it, you can delete that particular keyword and it will be restored back. And how to define the function? Its syntax is just you have to write the function name and then parenthesis, or you can say round brackets. And these are the four basic data types in Python, that is int, float, string, and boolean. And to check their data types, we are having the type functions. So yes, we have studied in this video. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Code Query Hub. So thanks for watching.